What in bird Jesus' name? I guess we have confirmation of religion in Avian Attorney. Bird Jesus was crucified on the bird feeder for all of their bird sins. You said you wanted to break in. Thought we could find an open window. I think you would turn into a bird-sized cannonball. Well, now we're here. We'll have to make the most of it. The place is quite something. It's very swanky? I was gonna say ostentatious. That's just swanky talk for swanky. We don't have time for this. Sound of a door being smashed in could bring unwanted attention. Find anything that may help our case and get out. I see paints, inks, dyes. Not quite sure what the clear liquid bottle is. I could taste test it. You could. But we don't have time for a hospital visit right now. Let's not. Clear. Oh, I bet the clear liquid is, what is... It begins with an A, and I know it's also used, I think, in oil painting. It's like acetine? I think that might be used in photography. Old photography, clear liquid, chemical, I don't remember. I see a bourgeoisie tigress in profile. See a finely dressed dandy fellow upon a horse. Are these gonna be paintings referenced? So this one's probably the Napoleon painting. Appears to be a photograph of a ladder. Symbolic of climbing towards success, perhaps? It's more like a stepladder to me. Oh no, we are not getting into that old argument. Beautiful picture of the Paris skyline. Given the angle, this must have been taken from Notre Dame's cathedral itself. Photograph of a castle somewhere in the countryside. You know, I once had an uncle who fell off a castle rampart while on guard duty. Oh, sorry to hear that. Did he die? No, he got demoted. Ugh, terrible. Butterfly, or maybe a moth. It's difficult to tell in black and white. Lighthouse? Oh, wait, it's a man in a top hat. Actually, if I squint and turn my head sideways, it's a black smudge, Falcon. I'll rush track. This is a tiny photograph of what appears to be a jail cell. That reminds me, how illegal is this? You know, breaking and entering, rifling through a person's belongings. It's cool, we're lawyers. Not gonna lie to you, Sparrowson. If we're caught, we will be spending the next 20 years with a number instead of a name. I called 24601. Don't be daft, Sparrowson. You can't call prison numbers. Damn, I wanted that one. 24601. I don't know if that's what that might be a reference to. It's a picture of a fence. It's a fancy photograph. Leaves the viewers defenseless. Out of all the pictures here, I would pick it as my favorite. Okay, I'm done. No more fence puns. Picture of a sailing ship on a windy day. Hey, Falcon, look. What? It's just an easel. No. Look what's on the easel. Oh, wow. This might be a copy of the photograph from the evening of the murder. No question about it. I see a housemaid named Catherine, and I think that's Seigneur Pertois, Catherine's father. So what shall we do? Do we just take this? No. That'd be a big mistake. Every half-competent lawyer knows that stolen property can't be used as evidence. Still, we've learned some valuable information by seeing this photograph in person. I suppose so. Is there anything else we need to do here? A chandelier. You could get one of those for the office. I don't have the money for that sort of luxury. Aw, come on. Live a little, Falcon. Yeah, I think we've got everything. I think we're done snooping. Get out of here before we draw further attention to ourselves. Sounds good to me. Uh-oh. Oh, mon Dieu! What happened to my door? Some kids did it. Little weasel types. We saw them. Yeah, weasels. They're all like, let's break into this art guy's house. We were like, no, weasels, you can't do that. It would be illegal. And then they were like, we chased them off. That's the important thing. Well, thank you, I suppose. Make a move. Trial day is approaching fast. Right, let's go. Dawn of a new day. All right, our first day of the trial. But what if we go back to the photographer's place? We didn't head to the trial. I was just, no, we're gonna be late. What if I check the prison first? Falcon, it's the trial day. Stop messing around. We need to head to the courthouse already. I was just, no. What if we go back to the office? What if I also go back to the chateau? Okay, it's all the same. Will we actually show up late, though? Falcon and Sparrowson stand outside the marble portico of the Palais de Justice, awaiting the opening of the Tribunal de Grande Instance. Ah, are you nervous, Falcon? Nope. We've got this case in the bag. Look at my feathers. See? Totally unruffled. Wow. Well, at least one of us is feeling confident. Monsieur Falcon, Petit Sparrowson, is there anything you need me to do? Oh no, we've got a handle on things. Falcon was just telling me how confident he was feeling about the case. That's wonderful. I just know you two will pull through. Let's move it along, fellas. I'll be watching from inside. Do your best for me, Monsieur Falcon. We will. Are we ready? Yeah, we're ready. All right, settle down, everyone. Settle down. Is everyone here? J.J. Falcon, present. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Rupert Rabington, present. Ready for prosecution, Your Honor. Oh, darn it, that's not it. Oh, gosh. Where are my notes? Ha, I knew it. Knew what? Rupert and I went to Paris Law School together. He was in all of my classes. Oh. Was he smart? No. He always scored the second worst marks in class. I can only assume he bumbled through the final exams on the luck of his two rabbits' feet. Sparrow-san, did you score the absolute worst? Unless he's improved considerably, you might already have this trial in the bag. That's good to know. But, say, Sparrow-san, if Rupert scored the second lowest marks in the class, then who scored the lowest? I choose to exercise my right to not self-incriminate. Here it is. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The jury all present. Present accounted for, Your Honor. Ooh, it's like, so I think we've got like a hummingbird. I don't know what that is. We've got a seal. Another bird, some kind of ostrich or emu. A goat, I think. Hippo. And then I think a dog. Hey, Falcon. I thought there were only 6 members of the jury for cases like this. How do I count 8? Oh, those 2 birds with funny hats are assessors, the associate judges. Everything seems to be in order, so let us begin. Court is now in session for the trial of Dame Cataline de Meow. Prosecution, please call your first witness to the stand. Oh gosh. Are we there already? Okay. I choose to call the officer in charge of the murder investigation, Inspector Volontaire, to the witness stand. Inspector Volontaire, please approach and stand and recite the oath. As you will, Your Honor. I swear to speak the truth without hatred and without fear, tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Monsieur, Inspector, please state your, name and occupation for the record. My name is Justy Volontaire, and I am a servant of the law, the scourge of the gutter rats that plague this city. I have enforced the law for over 20 years, and I shall continue until I bring the infamous Viridian killer to justice. My path begins 18 years ago. Stick to the questions, Inspector. Of course, Your Honor. Oh, great. Hoping we get one of those bumbling, cuddly officers, but instead we're stuck with lawful goody two-shoes. I bet this guy would turn in his own mother if he saw her littering. So, Inspector, is it true you're the lead investigator on this case? That is correct. Have they lost both their arms? Or they lost an arm at the elbow. This one at the hand. They've lost an eye. And I think on the cover, this is the character that's lost both legs. Damn. Dude has had a hard time. That is correct. I was among the first to arrive at the scene of the crime. Then perhaps you can walk us through what you witnessed upon your arrival. Absolutely. Just after 7:30, we were alerted and brought to the scene by the housemaid of Baron Roguel. At the scene of the crime, we found Madame Cataline de Meow. She was standing over the corpse of Monsieur Granouille with his blood on her paws. Well, that sounds like an open and shut case, in my humble opinion. No more questions, Your Honor. Bloody paws? Nobody told me that detail. Be together, Falcon. You're about to be given the opportunity to cross-examine the witness. That's your opportunity to find flaws in the inspector's testimony. Of course, I know this. Begin your cross-examination, Monsieur Falcon. Inspector, you said that Dame Cataline had blood on her paws. Correct. Blood clung to her fur like guilt to a convict. Whose blood was it? Ah! What a question! It was Monsieur Granouille's, of course. How can you be so sure? I object! This line of questioning is absurd. There was only one murder victim that night, Falcon. The blood on Dame Caroline's paws could have only belonged to one person. Monsieur Granouille. Judge! Falcon's trying to delay the trial by asking pointless questions. I'm afraid the prosecution may have a point, Monsieur Falcon. Do you have any reason to suspect that the blood belonged to someone other than Monsieur Granouille? I do, Your Honor. Actually, I have more than a suspicion. I have evidence that the blood on Dame Caroline's paws had nothing to do with the murder. This is a foolish time wasting, Falcon. If the blood on Dame Caroline's paws didn't come from the victim, where did the blood come from? It came from the stake. On the evening of the murder, Dame Caroline ate a bloody rare steak. Is this true, Monsieur Rabbington? In a manner of speaking, I suppose a steak may have been on the menu. Then, Inspector, would you acknowledge the possibility that the blood on the lady's paws did not belong to the victim, but to the steak? Well. Oh, wait. Don't answer that, Inspector. It is a possibility. No! Intriguing. Pretty convincing. You have gained a little favor with the jury. Oh, Inspector Voltaire, is it possible that you arrested an innocent bystander simply for being a messy eater? Now, hold on 1 minute, Falcon. You're overlooking something quite crucial. Dame Caroline is an elegant bourgeoisie kitten. She no doubt brought up with a flawless etiquette and perfect table manners. At the banquet, she would have eaten a steak with a fork in her left hand and a knife in her right, like any proper civilized animal. How could she have gotten blood in her paws with such good manners? Oh, that is a good question. Or at least, it would be at any ordinary dinner banquet. But as it happens, something was missing from that particular banquet. Something that forced Dame Caroline to eat with her paws. Dame Caroline was forced to eat steak with her paws because the silverware of the household had been stolen. Stolen? I don't recall any mention of that in the police report. We weren't aware of anything missing from the Rogier residence when we performed the initial investigation. But as it happened, Baron Rogier approached us about this very subject last night. Innocent perhaps? What a twist! You've gained favor with the jury. What is the meaning of all this? Bloody steak? Misplaced silverware? Inspector, was your investigation so lax that you overlooked these basic facts in your initial report? Lax. My investigation? Judge, I assure you, I am the most thorough investigative officer on the force. It is amazing that the Parisian police managed to solve any crimes at all. Oh dear. Be on your way, Inspector. Let's do a little inspecting for your next case. Yar fuck. Fine. So be it. Messieurs, until next time. Prosecutor, I trust that your next witness is ready. Yes, of course, Your Honor. I call upon, let's see, Monsieur Rubino, the photographer who attended the banquet on the night of the murder. Monsieur Rubino, please approach the stand and recite the oath. How does it go? Swear to speak without hatred and without fear. Tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. A little cliche, to be perfectly honest. Would the, witness please introduce himself for, the court record? If anybody in this courtroom does not immediately recognize me, I am the great Monsieur Rubino, cutting-edge photographer and visionary. I don't just take people's pictures. I capture their very essence. Je suis l'estat de une pipe. It's a pipe. You may have seen my works in the hit magazines Le Branche or Chutot. I can send you tweets if you like. What on earth is a tweet? Bird-to-bird communication. Come on, Falcon. It's the 19th century. Get with the times already. Oh boy, has that aged. Yes, your works are very impressive, Monsieur Rubino, but let's get down to business. We gotta defeat the Huns. I mean, win this case. Could you tell us your activities were on the night of the murder? Very well. I was hired by Baron Rogiel to capture the evening's events. I arrived at 7 in the evening, pointed my camera, and captured the beauty of the banquet in one fantastic photograph. Then I bailed the Baron and left. Like a true artist. And, with regards to the photograph itself, who did you photograph? I thought you might ask. I brought a copy that you could all see for yourselves. Oh, very good. Let's take a look. Foul play is on afoot. I guess we should have stolen it. My word, this is an exquisite picture, isn't it? So let's see, who do we have here? In the middle, we see Baron Rogiel, the lion who hosted the event. On the left, we see Seigneur Putois de Mao, on the father of the defendant, Dame Caroline. And finally, we see the housemaid, Colleen Trichat, who I suppose may have stuck into the picture uninvited. As you can see, 2 people are clearly absent from the photograph. The first is the victim, Monsieur Grenouille, and the second is the defendant, Dame Caroline de Mao. Quite suspicious, wouldn't you agree? Just a moment, Monsieur Rabbington. This proves nothing. So the defendant and the victim were not photographed with the others. That doesn't mean they were in the garden together at that point. Hold your horses, Falcon. I am not done yet. Prosecution may continue. Behind the photograph subjects, we see a wall clock with the time set at 7:30. Now, why is that time significant? Well, as Inspector Valetti told us earlier, that's the exact time the murder took place. Do you see, Falcon? Every suspect has an alibi at the time of the murder, save for Dame Caroline herself. Falcon, something's fishy. In the jail cell, Dame Caroline told us she was present when the photograph took place. I don't see her on Rubino's photograph. That's true. I can't use Dame Caroline's testimony as evidence. It has too little weight. I want to prove that Monsieur Rubino's photograph is not a valid piece of evidence. I'll have to dish out some of my own evidence. Your Honor, I would like to cross-examine this witness. Very well. The defense may proceed. A waste of time if you ask me. Photographs are rock-solid evidence. Let's take a closer look at this photograph. Just to clarify, Monsieur Rubino, photographs are a direct reflection of reality, are they not? That is correct. Photographic process leaves no room for bias or inaccuracies. That is most curious. Because I see a mistake. A mistake? Impossible! Just told you, monsieur. The camera is perfect. Unbiased evidence. Photographs it produces are flawless. Falcon, I'm not seeing any mistakes. Perhaps you could be more specific? Certainly. The clock in this photograph. Something not quite right with it. Isn't that convenient? The defense sees something wrong with the key piece of evidence that implicates his client. Give me that cocky tone, Monsieur Rabbington. I have evidence that there's something wrong with the clock in that picture. The photograph clearly shows the clock's hands pointing at 7 and 6. That much is self-evident. Which is most curious because the clock in the lounge of Chateau Crinière has no hands. It has no hands? The clock is merely a decorative piece, a talking item. Feel free to ask Baron Morgiel or his housemaid if you have doubts. Monsieur Robino, how do you explain this discrepancy? I don't know. There must be some sort of mistake. My camera's faultless. There is no mistake, monsieur. Your photograph depicts something that does not exist in the real world. Maybe there was an error in the printing process. An error precisely where the clock's hand should be. Please, monsieur, don't patronize us. Allow me to offer a more plausible explanation. You, Monsieur Robino, edited this photograph. Edited? I am no expert, but I suspect you used paint or ink to carefully put hands upon the clock. It would have been a simple task, considering the clock face was bare. One could even speculate that you specifically chose to include a handless clock in the photograph just to simplify the editing process. Falcon, your reasoning is absurd. Why would the witness do such a thing? Is it not obvious? By showing the photograph to have been taken precisely at 7:30, it clears all the photograph's subjects of suspicion. In other words, Monsieur Robino created the perfect alibi. Panic, panic. Of course, this raises further questions. Who is the witness protecting? And why? Was Monsieur Robino coerced, bribed, threatened? Enough silence! Let's hear some answers, Monsieur Robino! Fine, you've got me! I'm guilty! I did it all! You did it? You're confessing to the murder of Monsieur Grenouille? What? No, I don't know who killed the frog. I'm just admitting I'm guilty of producing fraudulent photographs. I was ordered to make changes to the printed photographs. Yes, that included adding hands to the clock. You were ordered by whom? I dare not say. Monsieur Robino, I strongly advise you to answer the defense's question. You have pledged to speak without fear, after all. With respect, Judge, I fear his claws more than I fear the punishment of the justice system. I shall name no names. His claws. Did you hear that, Falcon? That is most unfortunate. Monsieur Robino, we cannot and shall not torture names out of you. We don't live under the ancient regime, after all. But since you have admitted to falsifying evidence, we cannot keep you on the stand as a witness. Take your leave. You'll be charged with perjury in due course. I can't protest. The least I deserve for my failure as an artist. Good day, messieurs. Yes, intriguing. So the clock's hands were painted on. So what? Doesn't matter. The photograph still depicts Dame Catalina as absent, close to the time of the murder. That's significant. Don't be dense, Monsieur Rabbington. The photograph is not completely genuine. It cannot be considered reliable evidence. Well, why not? it's still portrayal of the a night's events. Because if we accept that one part of the picture was edited, then we must accept the possibility that other parts were too. It's possible that Dame Cataline was painted out. Even worse, it's possible another person was painted in. We know that the witness was trying to cover for someone, so all possibilities must be accounted for. What are you saying, Falcon? The housemaid paid off the photographer? Or that was Seigneur Pertois du Mal, perhaps? I don't think so. The housemaid lacks a means or motive, and it wouldn't make sense for Seigneur Pertois to implicate his own daughter. Sure, you're not suggesting the honest and beloved Baron Bourguel deliberately tried to frame Dame Cataline? Because that would be the most outlandish theory yet. The Baron is a pillar for the community. He would never do such a thing. Monsieur Rabbington, I'm not here to throw accusations. That's the job of you, the prosecutor. However, mayhaps I should offer my opinion. Baron, it's not a time for your witness testimony yet. So you would think, prosecutor, and yet I see my good reputation being tarnished by your incompetence. Incompetence? Indeed. Let us proceed with witness questioning. Is that fine with you, Judge? Yes, I suppose that's fine. Very good. And I trust the defense has no objections? No objections here. Fantastic! Oh, but I forget. I pledge to speak without fear and prejudice, etc., etc. Now, prosecutor, ask me about what I witnessed over the course of the evening. Oh, okay. Baron Bourguel, on the night of the initial dinner went magnificently. The photographer arrived, Monsieur Grenouille left to visit the garden. Dame Cataline followed behind him moments later. Seigneur Pertois, Monsieur Rubino, and myself were engaged in conversation, so we paid her no mind. After the photographer had left, my housemaid left to go find Monsieur Grenouille and Dame Cataline. That would be when I heard her cry for help. Thank you, Baron. I think we all know the story from there. I would like to cross-examine the witness. You doubt my integrity, garçon. I'm just here to uncover the truth, Baron. Very well, then. Hit me with your best shot. Let us establish with absolute certainty that I, Baron Bourguel, am an honest man. Defense may proceed with cross-examination. What is wrong on this one? Dinner, Monsieur Grenouille left to visit the garden. I'm trying to remember what went sideways. Not sure the cigar will do anything. Everything seems right, so what am I missing here? Is it when the photographer arrived, it wasn't Monsieur Grenouille who left? But I don't have any... What would I bring up as evidence? I mean, we could do the dinner and show the steak again, but I don't think that's it. I feel like the cigar's gonna come in. I'm not sure how I'm going to take that, because I feel like the easy counter argument is like, all right, I threw it in some other day. Like, you don't know when I threw that in. I'll do one cigar. Ben Rogiel, I have some questions about Monsieur Grenouille. God rest his soul. Why did Monsieur Grenouille leave to visit the garden? Believe he wanted some fresh air. Steak did not sit well with him, I fear. Oh, I see. But quite coincidental timing, isn't it? How so? Well, Monsieur Grenouille felt sick and left the room just after the photographer arrived and just before the murder occurred. One might draw a link between the food and the sickness. Hold on, Falcon. Surely you aren't suggesting that Monsieur Grenouille's food was poisoned in some way? No. Nothing to indicate poisoning. Found the timing somewhat puzzling. Nothing puzzling about it! Monsieur Grenouille always had a soft stomach. It's really no surprise he couldn't keep down a good rare steak. What was your relation to Monsieur Grenouille prior to his demise? We were business partners. Monsieur Grenouille, Seigneur Petois Dimiao, and myself all owned a third share in an up-and-coming railway company. Use the crassness of this question, but that means you and Seigneur Petois would now own half of the company each, correct? Correct! Suppose that is a slight glimmer of benefit that arose from this foul situation. But, Monsieur, you must understand that Monsieur Grenouille and I were friends as much as we were business partners. I mourn the man's passing. Of course. Baron, we saw the murder scene and your garden for ourselves. Baron Rogiel, when was the last time you ventured into your own garden? As it happens, I have quite serious allergies. I haven't been in my garden for years. Years, you say? Indeed! Baron, don't wish to call you a liar. The claim does not hold up to scrutiny. Oh, and why is that? It is hard evidence that you visited the garden recently. Balderdash, my word is gold! Show the court this so-called hard evidence that I've been in my garden. This was found in your garden. To be specific, it was found inside the fountain basin. Right beside where the murder occurred! A cigar butt? Whoa! That's how shocked I am at this turn of events. Hey, Lucy, welcome on by. It could belong to anybody. And prosecutor, please shut your mouth. I can speak for myself. Okay, sorry, Baron. It is indeed the remnants of one of my cigars, but I must apologize, Monsieur Falcon. or I misunderstood your initial question. You see, prior to the banquet, I hadn't visited my own garden in years. But naturally, after hearing my housemaid's cry for help on the evening of the murder, I rushed outside. I was shocked, disgusted by what I saw. Must have been when I dropped my half-smoked cigar in the fountain basin. You see, Falcon? It's a perfectly reasonable explanation. I would find that believable if the cigar were casually discarded. But as it happens, the cigar butt was found in the upper basin, a location that could only be accessed with great inconvenience. And a little paddling. The cigar butt was not dropped. It was deliberately hidden. There are any number of possible explanations. Are there? Because I can only think of one. That is, that you, Baron Vorgiel, deliberately hid your cigar butt to disguise your own illicit activities. Did I now? And what illicit activities would those be? You want me to spell it out? Fine. Let's put everything on the table. You, Baron Vorgiel, murdered Monsieur Grenouille. That is what you were trying to keep hidden. Directly accusing me of murder. How shamelessly brazen. That's a ludicrous accusation, Falcon. The Baron is an upstanding citizen of the highest order. Your allegation is baseless. You have no evidence, no means, motive, or opportunity. No evidence? Think harder, Monsieur Rabbington. Every piece of evidence points to Baron Vorgiel as the prime suspect. You want the means? The Baron clearly had the means. His lion's claws are as sharp as a surgeon's blade. Gutting a frog belly would be trivial to him. Even Monsieur Robino confessed just moments ago that he feared his claws. Ridiculous! I would never threaten a man with violence! What a motive? The Baron had at least 10,000 francs worth of motive. By removing a business partner, the Baron's share of his railway company increased from 1/3 to 1/2. This is preposterous! And finally, the Baron had an opportunity. No, he crafted the perfect opportunity. He arranged a small banquet with a very select number of guests. He was aware of the missing silverware, yet he served steak, a food item that necessitates good cutlery. Why? To bloody the hands of his guests, of course. Then he hired an easily influenced photographer, staged a very specific picture in order to build a perfect alibi for himself. Photographing the guests in front of a handless clock to make it easy editing. It's quite an ingenious plan, it must be said. Prosecutor, are you just gonna let this slanderous yarn go uncontested? Say something! Object! Oh, you're pitifully useless! After executing the murder, the Baron found himself still holding a single piece of incriminatory evidence, his finished cigar. He knew that leaving it at the crime scene would raise suspicion, but he didn't have time to properly dispose of it. So, out of desperation, he threw it into his fountain, out of the sight of his guests and any snooping police. I imagine the Baron was hoping to implicate Seigneur Pierre de Maitre, since that would ensure total control over his railway company. Alas, Dame Cataline was the first to happen upon the crime scene, so the Baron improvised. This is an outrage! Judge, I demand you disbar this ranting lunatic! No, there's only one outrage here! That is, that a man like yourself is able to abuse his wealth and status to frame an innocent girl for murder! You are bourgeoisie of the worst kind! How dare you, garçon! The utter nerve of a lying scumbag of a lawyer to accuse a philanthropist like myself of something so heinous! I'm nothing like that fat cat bourgeoisie! I am a respectable, hard-working capitalist! No, you're a ruthless man who would slander a dear friend and slaughter him to reap a few francs. You incredulous whelp! I ought to gut you right here and now like like a damned frog. Good. Could someone please restrain the Baron? I'm on it, Your Honor. Let's go, old man, to the concierge with you. Don't touch me, you filthy jackdaw! I can walk myself! This is quite a turn of events. Does the prosecution have anything to add? Well, speaking of, to be honest, no. Then I shall now confer with the members of the jury, come with a decision. As the animals of the court, please be patient in this time. Falcon, that was pretty incredible. Thank you. I just hope it was enough. What do you mean? You just proved Catalin's innocence. We'll get a not guilty verdict for sure. Sparrowson, I think you've misunderstood something important about the justice system. What's that? I haven't proved anything. As lawyers, we cannot deal in proofs. It's just not possible. All we can do is organize the evidence and convincingly explain what it suggests. I haven't proved Dame Catalin's innocence. All I've done is demonstrate that there is a significant possibility that she is not guilty. I'm not sure that I understand the difference. We have reached a decision. In light of the recent revelations, it is clear that an error of judgment was made with the initial arrest. On that note, we unanimously find the defendant, Dame Cataline Demois, to be not guilty. Honestly, I thought it was going to say guilty, and then we were going to have like a critique of capitalist corruption of the justice system. But I guess we're not going that angle. Still, you had me there for a moment. Monsieur Falcon, Petite Sparrow's son, you did it. Yes, I suppose we did, didn't we? We should head back to the office so we can celebrate properly. You did it, Falcon. I can't take all the credit. This was a group achievement. I'm so proud of you both. I'll go get 1 bottle of wine and 3 of our least dirty glasses. You were amazing, Monsieur Falcon. Aw, it was nothing. I very much like the way you pinned the murder on the Baron. That was an act of sheer genius. Well, I didn't pin anything. Sparrowson and I just worked at unveiling the truth, given the facts of the case. Monsieur Falcon, there's no need to play coy. The case is over. Play coy? Don't tell me you're actually being sincere. I'm completely lost. Oh, wow. I thought the goody-goody thing was an act, but you actually don't know. All right, I'll spell it out for you. The double twist. I murdered Monsieur Grenouille. I saw him in the garden, all drunk and vulnerable. It was nothing personal, just business, you understand. Business? To increase my papa's share in the train company, of course. My papa always said that the drunk frog was the weakest link. Confession doesn't make any sense at all. I found the Baron Rogreal's cigarette butt hidden in the garden. Oh, I put that there. I expected the police to find it, but I suppose I was putting too much faith in the brains of Paris' finest. But how could prove that Monsieur Robina's photograph was edited? It was edited. I wasn't in the picture because I was busy paying a visit to Monsieur Grenouille in the garden. My papa knew I needed an alibi, so he ordered Monsieur Robino to paint me over Baron Royale and add hands to the clock. But that lazy artist didn't manage to finish altering the photograph by trial day. It's a good thing that Monsieur Falcon was so imaginative, because that could have gone very badly. What's with the silence? You should both be proud. There aren't many lawyers in the whole of France who could have won a case like this, even for a bourgeoisie kitty like me. I think you should leave. Fine. So much for the celebrations. Here's the payment for your services, straight from my papa's pockets. Will adieu, Monsieur Falcon. Adieu, petite sparrow son. Falcon? What do we do now? Falcon? Damn. Damn. Talk about a blue screen of death. Just, oh. Oh fuck, we just helped the baddies.